Hi guys, it's Megan here, and I am a family rancher on Salvia Ranch, and I am here to present to you the solutions I have for the sage-grouse problems we face here in Eastern Oregon. And some of the issues are political, economic, social, and cultural, and ecological, environmental issues, and they are solutions for each and every one of these problems. And I will share the budget we have and how we can reach that budget, whether it'll cost certain things for our family or it won't cost anything. So just a quick glimpse. Here is a map of our ranch and the solutions we have. As you can see, we have the little ponds, the fencing, our house right here in the corner. And that's just a little glimpse of our map, as you can see, but I'll discuss it more in depth. So as we start, we're going to talk about the issues that face the sage-grouse here in Eastern Oregon. We have the political issues. And these political issues are the conservation efforts. And no one is trying to elect people to help with these conservation efforts, and it's damaging the sage-grouse population. Because of this, populations have dropped nearly 20% due to mining and drilling. Because there's no one conserving the sage-grouse, people are mining and drilling on their land. That's causing 90% of population loss. And second of all, they're not on the endangered species list. And this is very detrimental to the sage-grouse community because they're not on the endangered species list. They're not being protected. So just a glimpse of a solution for the political issues is we elect people that are going to take forth conservation efforts, take forth putting them on the endangered species list so we can protect them. This is really important to me, especially as a family rancher on Salvia Ranch. Some economic issues that are facing me, especially as a rancher, is we have to delay grazing and get rid of cattle all due to grazing permits because people aren't conserving sage-grouse. We have to get rid of it altogether because there's no plan. We have to get rid of grazing altogether because there's no plan to protect the sage-grouse, so the cattle are actually hurting it, which is losing money for our ranch to help protect the sage-grouse. As well as it allows for off-stream and watering to permit cattle to graze evenly, which is, again, losing money because we aren't being able to do that because the sage-grouse is not being protected properly. Some other economic solutions is removing junipers to increase sage-grouse habitat and cattle grazing area. If we remove the juniper trees, we can have more land for cattle grazing and for streams, which allows for more land for the sage-grouse as well, which is very beneficial to the conservation efforts. Some other issues are social and cultural issues. The biggest one is it caused division between groups. Groups are fighting whether to save the sage-grouse or save the juniper trees or just get rid of it altogether because, you know what, we're industrializing the city, and it's caused major issues with groups, and it's caused fights and rallies and riots, and it's just not beneficial. And it's just not beneficial to the sage-grouse with these social and cultural issues. Some other issues, there's definitely divisions between environmentalists and farmers, as we talked about. But it's also has a benefit. It allows for more collaboration. It's forcing them to talk. You can't just bicker to listen to other people. You got to listen. You got to talk about it. You got to bring environmentalists and farmers together to save the sage-grouse because they are an important species. It also puts stress on small-time farmers who cannot afford it. Like me, for instance, having these issues, I can't afford to spend my time bickering with environmentalists to protect the sage-grouse, but to also keep my farm. It's not beneficial, and I'm losing my time and money. And it also has me focusing on these issues that will decrease focus on production of crops and cattle. I can't focus on my crops and cattle because of the environmentalists, because they're bickering at me because the sage-grouse aren't being protected. And I do care about the sage-grouse being protected, but I also care about my farm. So it's been very difficult for me. And lastly, some ecological environmental issues they're an indicator species. Health of sage-grouse affects overall health of the environment. Health determines health of hundreds of other species that depend on it. My species that live on my farm, the sage-grouse help it. So I am willing to and interact with environmentalists to come up with an opportunity to keep the sage-grouse, which also benefits my farm and my species, which is crucial. So saving the sage-grouse is very important. It has the population has shrunk from millions to about 200,000 in just a few decades, and that has taken a hurt on my farm because they help the sage-grouse, for instance, and wheat. They help it thrive, and it helps for grazing for cattle, and I can earn money to help with my crops, and it's just a chain effect that is very important that we need. So that's why we need the sage-grouse. And to balance everything out, my family has created a budget and some solutions to these issues that I'm going to talk about. First of all, we've talked about fencing, and that's for cattle grazing. And it allows for a specific area for cattle to graze so I can earn money. But to put up this new fencing, it cost about $108,000, which is a lot. But we've learned using barbed wire fencing, it has allowed for it to be cheaper than using wood fencing, which has been very beneficial. And we'll use it lots to the right of my house. And then we have the wetlands, fencing the wetlands, which is another $54,000. But we use old barbed wiring fencing, which again is cheaper and is more beneficial because I can not go in debt and have to sell my land. So that's another $54,000. There's a pond down the road that we'll fence with old barbed wire fencing, which will help keep the other species in that pond from going into the sage-grouse habitat. There are invasive there are sage-grouse legs, which are clearing behind the shop. We're going to make the sage-grouse habitat, and that's where they mate and birth other sage-grouse to keep the population growing, and that's about $172,000 to do. And yet again, it'll help improve the population of sage-grouse, as well as we're going to replace all the fencing around the property with old barbed wire fencing because it's really torn down. And that's about $432,000. So that's a little nail biter expensive, but yet again, it'll help improve the sage-grouse population and is the solution to the issues we're facing. And then another solution we have is invasive plants such as the juniper trees and cheatgrass. We are going to use fertilizer to organic fertilizer to get rid of the cheatgrass, and that's about $5,000 to buy about 2,000 acres worth of fertilizer, which is really beneficial. Definitely old barbed wire fencing, as I said before, is going to be really crucial to protecting the sage-grouse, and it doesn't massacre the birds as they're flying. It's pretty safe and it's cheaper, so as a farmer it's going to be a lot easier to manage. Encroaching juniper trees, we're gonna uproot and destroy the newly planted baby trees and other trees. That's about $96,000 to take away those trees, but overall it's gonna provide more nutrients on the grass for sage-grouse, and so that's really beneficial yet again to sage-grouse. Livestock overuse on wetland manures, we're gonna just move the cattle. Really simple as that. We're gonna move the cattle over. So overall our budget cost $867,900, and it's pretty cheap for what it could cost. Our original budget before we figured everything out was like over $3 million, and we're like, no, it won't happen, so we got to change that up. But some ways we can reach that goal and make it cheaper is we can sell land to the government, and hopefully they'll take initiative on the sage-grouse, or we can sell our house and move. But to be honest, I really don't want to do that. That's like our last resort if we can't reach the budget. So that's the glimpse of our budget and the issues facing sage-grouse and our solutions. As a family, I am Megan. I'm our family ambassador, and I'm really appreciative for you listening to my plans. And I hope you have an amazing day and will support me in protecting the sage-grouse as well as protecting my farm. So thank you.